right, we are live. What's up, everybody? Spencer Israel. I'm with Stock Market TV. Markets are closed. The bell has rung. Everyone, put your pencils down. What a day! Was that a day? That was we call that a good day, right? In the markets. What every not every sector in the green, but most of them. 68% of stocks, the New York Stock Exchange, going up today. That's a good day. There's like barely any red on my screen, right? I mean, what Apple went down, energy, all right, a little energy. It's been ripping. Did everyone have a good day today in the market? I hope you did. This is really good timing actually. Today is actually the epitome of something that we've been thinking about and doing and working on here, really for the past couple of years. And if you've been watching us, you've been paying attention. If you've been watching Stock Market TV, if you've been watching the morning show, if you've been involved with Breakout Multiplier or any of the things that we do, you've seen it. Okay. The last few years have been a structural tailwind for traders and investors and anyone that frankly owns risk assets. Okay. Um, if you've seen our streams, you know this, right? You know, we were talking about a commodity super cycle 2 years ago. I think we did our first video about it in February of 24 or March 24. Okay. It was 2 years ago. We launched the breakout multiplier strategy with Strazza almost 2 years ago. Okay. It has been a banger. We just launched the beat report. That has been a banger. Um, Basically, a lot of strategies are working right now, and there's a reason for that. And I hope the past few years have been good for you. They've been good for us. We think they're going to keep being this way for reasons that are beyond our control. I mean, Gene, can you bring up the slide here that I got? This is just I think one example of just the structural buying risk on environment we are in. Look at how the options market has changed the last 10 years. Okay. In 2015, you had 4.1 billion options contracts traded for the whole year and $380 trillion of notional value. Those were the stats 10 years ago. Look what happened last year. Okay. 15 billion options contracts. I had to look up what that number was. That's $1.6 quadrillion in notional value in options contracts last year. Okay. There are structural things happening. We are moving towards 24/5. Frankly, 24/5 already exists if you're on certain platforms and certain stocks. The CBOE has created zero DTEs. They're creating expirations that expire midweek. Monday and Wednesday expirations and daily expirations and the weeklies and the monthlies and the leaps. It's these are things that are happening that are beyond all of our control, and we think they're a net positive, and we are here for it. So that's sort of like the environment that we are in right now. I want everyone to kind of have that context before I bring on Strazza, because that's basically what we're doing here. We're thinking about, okay, there are things happening from a regulatory market structure standpoint that are probably going to be good for asset owners. How do we take advantage of that? And I'm sure you guys have seen it. We've talked about it. We've talked about prediction markets. The animal spirits are in the air, okay? And that's what we spend all day thinking about is how best can we as traders and as investors take advantage of those animal spirits. So if you have been involved with Steve Strazza and Breakout Multiplier the past couple of years, you have undoubtedly seen or heard him referring to He'll refer to trade sometimes in passing. He'll talk about a trade he made for breakout multiplier, and then he'll mention, oh yeah, by the way, I'm also in the weeklies, or I'm in a much shorter dated trade as well. Um, that just speaks to the fact that a guy like Steve, uh, frankly, is running a lot of strategies simultaneously, right? We know breakout multiplier. He's going for the fences. He's trying to hit home runs. And when he connects big. Okay. But as I've said, many strategies are working right now. That is one of them. Another one is a strategy that hinges on faster trades, right? Weekly expirations, not not having to wait a month or 2 months or 3 months in some cases for a double or triple or quadruple. Faster trades are in vogue. I think everyone is sort of losing patience right now in life in society, and we want our trades faster. We want our gains faster. And so Steve's been doing that. He's been doing that on his own for a while. And we put our heads together and we said, okay, Steve, why don't you sort of put this strategy down on paper and explain it to us like we're five or like I'm five, right? Because um, so much has worked. Basically, we came off that huge post-COVID bubble, massive correction, 2022, the worst year ever for the 60/40 portfolio. And how has life been since then if you own risk assets? Pretty good. Pretty good for you, I hope. Pretty good for me. Pretty good for Strazza. And we think this party is continuing. So I just want to give Strazza his flowers before he comes on. The guy has been on an absolute heater. He mentioned this on the morning show yesterday. Yeah, I did. I did give him some heat. Maybe sarcastically, I said, "Hey, I thought you were a little early on the energy trade." Well, uh, egg on my face. Here are some results that from trades Strauss has made past couple months here. He bought Oxy calls, the 4750 calls, doubled his money. That was a 5xer. He bought ConocoPhillips calls, the $100 calls. That was a 10xer. He bought the 165 Chevron calls for March. That doubled in 3 days. That was a 7xer. Kinder Morgan, he bought the $29 calls expiring in March. That was a 6.5xer. He bought USO. That was a 3.5xer. The Shell calls, the $80 calls for Shell that expire in April. That doubled in 2 days. That trades up 5x. Those are all energy trades. Those are all fast returns. And that's what Steve is here to talk to us about. So, without further ado, I want to bring Steve on because we don't have time to waste, frankly. Okay. Every day that we're not making the most money we can make is a day we're not making the most money we can make. And I want to bring Steve on to talk to us about that. So, Steve, are you here? Is he unmuted? Let's make sure he's unmuted before we he comes out.
Spencer,
Yes, hello.
how's it going?
Well, I don't know. You tell me. You said today, what'd you say before we went live? What'd you say? You said today was one of the best days that you can remember. Is that what you said?
For traders, I mean, we had such well advertised coils, tactical bases setting up. Some of these areas of the market kind of took off the selling pressure from, just Monday and Tuesday of this week. They bottomed weeks ago, and you're seeing some absolutely explosive moves. They say, Spencer, that when the missiles fly, it's time to buy, and that's proving to be true.
Oh, I didn't even mention the fact. I didn't even mention that. We are at war. We are at war. And if you need another reason to buy stocks or buy anything, if you just go look at the history, war is generally a good thing. War brought us out of the Great Depression, right? The most famous example of all time. So, yeah, another reason to be bullish and to be buying and to want to make money in this market. So, I'm
It's like
glad you're here to tell us
yeah,
about it.
it's a perfect storm of things. Right now, I think we have some really nice opportunities. Not only that, but I think the best opportunities today happen to be in like the most liquid corners of the market, which always makes my life easier, right? Options give you options, but when you're trading growth stocks, I mean, you could trade options that expire tomorrow, Friday, next Friday. You could buy the monthlies.
It's
You could
crazy.
trade them overnight now. And I think that those are the stocks, right? The Mag Sevens and Friends, your large cap growth stocks, the ones we all know and love. They've been sideways for a long time, consolidating, really nice and coiled up. And you're seeing some big moves today. Like this whole theme is starting to go again. I think we're going to get a really big leg up here. I'm going to trade the hell out of it.
All right, tell us about it.
You got the slides up? I can't see
I
them on the screen for
I
some
got
reason.
him up.
Okay. So today we're talking about the fastest money in the market. I know, there's probably a good handful of folks here who are familiar with breakout multiplier and beat report. Beat report, we say we're trying to make the most money in the best trends, right? And breakout multiplier, we're anticipating some big moves, getting in the coils, buying enough time, right, for those coils to kind of resolve and kick off their reaction rallies. But with what we're doing here today with Wave Trader, and we're looking to make money today, tomorrow, next week. Quick money, it's a simple strategy for finding the very best trades on the most liquid stocks to make the fastest money possible in riding today's biggest waves. I mean, that's really it. And once again, like everything we do, it is a simple, repeatable process. It allows us to identify the biggest market waves before the crowd knows about them, right? We see the energy building in these chart patterns and trends that we're tracking, and then we get in at the optimal moment. Timing is everything. When you're trading short term, super short term, weekly calls, when you're trying to make money and you need a move to happen in 3 or 4 days, you have to nail that timing. And that's what we're doing here. If there's one thing we are, I think, the best in the business at, it is timing our entries. It's not picking directions, not knowing, the underlying trend. A lot of people can do that. It's not that hard. We have figured out over the years using things like the squeeze indicator and different momentum indicators, relative strength analysis. We really have a knack for getting there at the perfect time, not paying for more time than we need because time is money, right? And you don't have to go out 45, 60, 90 days. If you think this move is going to happen over the course of the next week, just go out to next week's expiration. That's the kind of stuff we're doing here. And what it allows us to do is target 3x, 5x, even 10x returns in weekly and monthly options. Just like breakout multiplier, we will also win and trade in both directions, right? I remember this time last year, Spencer, all we were sending out were put alerts. Right? We're buying puts, betting on big downside wave. So we'll do that here too, right? We'll go both ways using calls and puts. And, the best way to kind of dive in and explain what we're doing here, Spencer, I have Coinbase on my mind today. I have Coinbase on my mind. Did you know that over the past month alone, Coinbase has had 4 single sessions of 13% gain or more? Just in the last less than 21 trading days. 4 different sessions where the stock has rallied 13% or more in a single day. All of 2025, it only did that 3 times. So we're seeing that change in momentum. We have this new momentum indicator that we'll talk about later on in the call. But this is one from September of last year because we keep going back for more. We keep going back to the well. This is, at this point, it is by far my favorite stock to trade and even invest in, right? Own it for the long term too. So much you could do here with Coinbase. This was from September of last year. Textbook coil. We got the VWAP here from pivot high right before a big sell-off. Breakdown gap on earnings. Coiled up, ready to go. We jump in and we buy the 1017 350 calls. This is exactly the kind of trade you're going to get with Wave Trader. We pay $7 for them. 2 days later, we get a double as we're coming out of that coil, right? And the thing hasn't even broken out yet. We've doubled, right? Because we're going so short term in this trade. We're going out about a month here. Then from there, boom, we get a nice follow through wave and we make 640% over the course of the next few weeks, right? Quick, easy money. Your risk is defined. You know exactly how much you can lose. We're just going to keep riding these winners. So in this example, you could have turned $1,000 into $4,700. That could pay for this membership. And then some. It could pay for what, 5 years of this membership, Spencer?
Math is hard, but maybe.
So, what do most people do wrong when it comes to short-term trading strategies? A lot of people are trading common stock, maybe the same vehicle, right? Same strategy, and they're sticking to whatever it is that they know. It's mostly common stock, right? But if you know, or if you have a high level of conviction, right, that a stock is in a coil, right? It's a volatility compression pattern, it's building up energy, and a big move. The odds of a big move in the coming, say, 5 to 10 trading days are very, very heightened. Why would you buy the common stock? You want to go out maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks in that situation, buy some calls, don't pay for more time than you need, right? Because this is a very capital efficient system. If we're going out and buying calls 2, 3 months in the future, we're going to spend a lot more money than if we're just buying calls 2, 3 weeks out, because that's all we need, right? So in that way, we have a leveraged bet on something that very low capital requirement, and we can easily go 2, 3, 5x in a matter of days. We are going to take the patterns and the time frames of those patterns and then craft the option strategy around that and only pay for as much time as we need. That's really the key to this system. Here's what we did with Coinbase this week. Coming out of a nice tactical base, stock hit, its lowest level in years just before it had a big earnings report. This was one of those 13% days coming off that, candle at the lows there, where we have the VWAP dropped from, ran right back up, right to the upper bounds of this base, chopped around there for a while with some really constructive action. So on February 19th, we'd been watching the situation play out, knew this one was high up on our list, wanted to get some action, bought the coin 320, 190 calls. This went out almost exactly a month, paid $5. This is actually a beat report trade. A couple days later, the calls are up 400%. That's what we look like today in the Coinbase. So that was a big one that we took profits in just here this afternoon. We'll probably be back to trade it again. If you were in this trade, you would have returned $1,000, would have returned you $4,970. $2,500 would have gotten you almost $12,500, and a $5,000 position would have yielded $25,000. Does this sound easy, Spencer?
I don't know. You make it sound a little easy. I'm not going to lie. You make it sound a little easy. Tell me it's not that easy, or maybe it is that easy. Why wouldn't everyone do this? I guess is the question.
The hard part isn't putting on the trades, right? It's getting used to losing and understanding the risk reward equation in this game that we're playing. In other words, if I know from experience that when I win, I'm probably making 5x, in many cases 10x, sometimes more, why wouldn't I be more than willing to take several shots to being right on that position? In other words, just this trade with Coinbase, the week before, I'd bought it too early, did sell a double, and then the rest went worthless. Then I put on a really spicy trade a couple days out, thinking the move was coming like immediately, lost all of it. What did I do the next day? Bought more. So I lost once, broke even once, and then I finally won big. People really struggle to do something like this. And it goes back to, it's like Kahneman and Tversky on loss bias or loss aversion, right? Which is that people will do anything to avoid that feeling of losing. And you end up making irrational decisions, right? Because most people don't want to be wrong twice to be right once. But if you're wrong twice and you lose a couple $100 each time, and then when you're right, you make $5,000 or $10,000, you're more than paying for those losers, right? So I've gotten really used to losing and losing well, and I'm just more than okay with it because I know it's simply the price you pay to play with a system like this.
Yeah, and Steve, I mean, that goes back to, I saw a video recently with Stan Druckenmiller, and he talked about pretty much the story of his career is about controlling his losses on his losers and making bank on his winners. That's basically the reason for his success. It's not about being right or being wrong. It's about when you're wrong, how little can you lose? And when you're right, how much can you make?
So we're used to losing here. We're good at it. We're lucky if we're trading call options or something, like we just did in the situation with Coinbase. We know exactly how much we can lose. We position size responsibly, right? We do that math ahead of time. We say, okay, I might have to swing once, maybe twice. In baseball, you could swing a couple times. You don't strike out. You swing again a couple seconds later, right? Maybe you get that home run. That's what we're doing here. So most traders, unfortunately, are emotionally unprepared to miss a couple times, right? They lose once, maybe they lose twice, and then they quit, right? We keep on going until we win or until that setup that we're stalking is invalidated. So there will be situations with Wave Trader where we send you a trade one week, it doesn't work. Let me send you a nearly identical trade the next week, and it works, right? That's what we're going to do. We're going to do that over and over again. Once you learn how to trade the waves the right way, you will start seeing better results almost immediately. And again, if you're worried about the headlines in Iran or the market volatility, right? Things have been rough for many corners of the markets, specifically the growth trade since really October of last year. Sideways, messy, choppy. Well, guess what? In a down market, we'll come out and we'll do the same thing. We'll just be buying puts. These were some good examples from this time last year, Spencer. We went short KRE on March 27th. We bought the April 56 puts for 90 cents. In a matter of days, we had doubled. And then the move from there was pretty epic. That was a little, tariff situation we had in March and April of last year. So we did really well on the short side. We'll be happy to do that again. If you were in this short KRE trade, you could have turned 1,000 into 6,000, 2,500 into 15,000, or 5,000 into $30,000. Again, quick money, happens fast. It's in a matter of weeks. We just did this recently with Wave Trader. Bank of America looked nasty, looked like it was completing a big top. You see the Strazza indicator signaling that volatility expansion is underway. There's only one thing to do with a pattern that looks like this. So we stepped in, we bought the puts. This was just last week, February 23rd, 2 weeks ago. We bought the Bank of America March 6th, $50 puts. Will always be probably shorter term when it comes to the short side, right? Those moves happen to be quicker, and you want to be quicker to the trigger too, like we were here. We paid 73 cents for those. Volatility expansion came the very next day. We had a max return of 160% in one day. We got out of that position because we saw the market turning. Now XLF is out here completing a top, and we're looking to buy Bank of America or JP Morgan calls. If you're in the Bank of America trade, could have turned a $1,000 position into $2,600, a $2,500 position into $6,500, or a $5,000 position into $13,000. Everybody's buying oil and gas stocks are all the rage right now. I think we're probably short-term toppy for this theme. We've been taking big profits, but just last week, we saw this coil in Exxon. We said, we are going to get a pop here. This was on February 26th. We bought the Exxon Mobil March 6th weekly 155 calls. We paid 134 the very next morning. Bang. Calls hit 650. Max return of almost 400%. Right back to and through the highs from earlier in February. That's the kind of move we're looking for. Want it to happen fast. We don't want to buy more time than we need. In this situation, we only bought, these calls will expire on Friday, right? You have to act fast, take those profits when you get them. We could have turned 1,000 into 4,850. If you were in this trade, 2,500 into 12,000, or $5,000 into more than $24,000. What do you think?
Is that good? Because that sounds good.
So today, it's been all about crypto, right? Not just Coinbase, but we were in MicroStrategy. This was actually a Wave Trader trade. We're also in Robinhood with Breakout Multiplier. I'm surprised we didn't get more from Robinhood today. I'm a little bit disappointed. What, 8% today? Would have thought we'd get more. Anyway, Biminer is another one we're on to, but crypto's hot is the bottom line. There's a stock called Bullish. It's a crypto stock. I'm bullish, BLSH. That's another one. February 25th, we bought the MicroStrategy. March 20, 150 calls. We paid $4.30. Look at this beautiful coil. Strazza indicator signaling, hey, we're down on the ground here. Volatility compression mode, but we're ticking higher. A big surge could be underway, and it was. Today, those calls shot higher for a max return of 120%. So we're out here selling the double. We're going to let the rest ride. I think there's more upside, in the coming days for MicroStrategy. They hit 950 today. So this trade, you could have turned 1,000 into $2,200, $2,500 into $5,500, or 5,000 into $11,000. People say, how do you do this? How do you spot these waves or these big rally phases just as they're hitting? Well, one way we do it, people who are familiar with breakout multiplier know about the squeeze indicator. We're using basically the same indicator here. It's our volatility compression indicator. This will be the swell indicator or the swell score, but it's really just the squeeze indicator on a shorter time frame, a slightly shorter time frame.
Love the
Because
name. Love the name, by the way. Love the name.
I like the surf theme here. I think it's a lot of fun. But we're trying to make money on a slightly shorter time frame. So we're basically just taking the squeeze indicator, which has been so good to us. I've been using almost my whole career now. It's the single greatest indicator in the world. Because it's not just about getting direction right, Spencer. It's about being in the right things. I want to be in the things that are blowing out and making massive moves, seeing huge surges in momentum. Strazza indicator helps us do that. That's one thing that we're going to use. But we're also now pairing it with a new indicator that I've been working on internally. If you go to the next slide, how nice is this chart?
The takeoff meter.
So it's not enough for us to just know, okay, a big move is building here. Volatility expansion is underway, right? Could come in a couple days, maybe a couple weeks. That's not enough. We need to know if we're trading such short dated calls and puts, this move it's happening now, right? So that's what the takeoff meter tells us. This is a momentum based indicator, short term momentum, and it tells us, hey, that move is underway, right? Big bid is coming into this stock right now. This is Amazon. This is a trade we put on first thing this morning. Really, really clear resistance line getting taken out, a big VWAP being reclaimed. You see that takeoff meter spike, right? It gets dark blue when it's where we want it. Highest reading in probably months here for Amazon. That's when we know, okay, it's time to act. It's time to pull the trigger. This stock was up 3 or 4%, I think, today. And if we get a little follow through tomorrow, that'll be a one-day double. So we are pairing our standard, traditional volatility analysis now with a huge momentum indicator that lets us really have a high conviction or high degree of conviction that right now is the time to act. That wave is coming and we're about to ride it. That's what the takeoff meter helps us do.
Steve, is anyone else doing this or is it because I haven't heard about this before?
Maybe. Probably not, Spencer.
Okay.
This has taken years and years to figure out. I don't know if anybody's doing it. I don't pay too much attention to what other folks are doing. But, this has been like a perfect storm of things coming together. If you asked me 2 or 3 years ago, hey, could you ever really share your short-term trades? I would say, no. First of all, the risk-reward profile of a system like this is a little bit too aggressive. You need some sort of background or level of understanding of options and risk reward in order to really jump in and make this work. And then liquidity would have been a big issue. But now some of these markets, especially like for the biggest stocks in the world, we have ample liquidity, right? So back in the day, I would say, well, there's enough liquidity for me, but maybe not my team of options traders, right, to get into the same trade with me. Now, in what we're doing with Wave Trader, we're trading the most liquid markets in the world. So we can do it, right? We can share these trades. We could all get in together. We're not going to move the market. We're not going to move prices at all. So I think it's really nice just due to new developments in market structure and mechanics really allows us to do this.
I do want to pause. There are questions in the chat. Don't worry. I see them. Keep coming. We will address the questions at the end. I promise. But Steve, what do I get?
What do you get? Where are you?
What do I get with Wave Trader? What do I get?
You're going to get trades, about 15 to 20 trades per week, and then a weekly call, right? Just like Break It, Multiplier, and Beat Report, where we're going to go through it all together. We're going to go through it all together, talk about what we're trading, what we're seeing, what we might be trading, why we're trading it, how we're taking profits, whether or not we sold the double yet. and we're going to figure it all out together. And then you are also in the future, I'm very excited. We are coding the takeoff meter and the swell score, the swell indicator, the swell score into basically a really nice, like technology tool that you can go in and filter and sort by these different criterias, our proprietary scores, and other data to kind of, try to spot these opportunities yourself. So that'll be very similar to the squeeze engine. It's in development now. It's a couple weeks out, but boy, is it going to be good.
So just to be clear, there's 15 to 20 trades per month,
It's
right?
probably going to be a little more, to be
Holy
honest.
cow, really?
Been doing about one a day.
Wow. Okay. There's the weekly live call, which, as I understand it, will be Tuesdays at noon, right? And
Yep.
then there is going to be the indicator portion of or the tool portion of the strategy that you'll get, right? So, do I got that right?
Yes. Spot on.
All right, awesome. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat right now. I know we're having some traffic issues on our page. There might be a lot of people, more than we are used to, perhaps, um,
Spencer, if you
tune
flip to 31,
tuning into
people
this event.
people say, well, why would you share this? And the truth is, you were just talking about it. I heard you did a great job at the top of the call here. What was it? About a year and a half ago, we started Breakout Multiplier. And even with that, over the years, I would tell JC, I don't know if I ever want to publish or kind of share what I'm doing. It's kind of crazy town, something like Breakout Multiplier. And we did it. And in the, 18 months since, we have built the most beautiful community of traders. We all go on the weekly call together every week and we, talk it through, talk about what we're doing, what we're trading. Oh, we had a bad week. Oh, we had one of our best days ever. Great. And I'm having the time of my life doing this. And we get on those calls and I'll talk about, what I'm doing in my longer term accounts and the primary trend trades and investments that I'm making. So finally I said, we need something for this. So we launched Beat Report, right? For my longest term, high conviction ideas to do all that, right? And then we said, okay, breakout multiplier could be this intermediate term time frame for the swing trading time frame that we all know and love. And then I find myself coming on the breakout multiplier calls and saying, yeah, we're in the we're in the Coinbase 320s, but I'm also in the 36s and the 313s, and we talk about all that. I'm like, now we need something where we can just go and talk about the really short term, extra spicy trades. And I think, the community that we built with Breakout Multiplier and now Beat Report, it's been just such a joy for me that why not do another one and just talk about, the spiciest short term, highest risk reward trades that we're making out here. No reason not to.
All right. If you're watching this live, just scroll down. There is a link below, or use the link in the chat. If you're watching the replay, just scroll down, right? And you will get access to these trades. Like Steve said, I guess basically every day. It's that kind of a market. It's that kind of a service. So, whether you want to join for 1 year, whether you want to join for 3 years, that's up to you. I guess it's really a question of how much money do you want to make with Steve? I guess that's the question, right? As always, everything we do comes with a risk-free trial. Try for 30 days. You don't like it, it's okay. We'll still be friends. You get your money back. I don't think that'll happen. But Steve, kudos to you because it's been more than a year and a half since we did Breakout Multiplier, right?
Been a while,
And
yeah.
that was we didn't know what to expect, frankly.
No, we
Just
didn't.
being honest, I don't think you knew what to expect either. It worked better than I guess you knew that because it was your strategy. So you knew it was
I,
working, right?
I
And
knew
this
that
is the
it
same
would work.
idea. Yeah,
I knew that the performance would be there. That wasn't the problem. We have
yeah,
a 60% win rate. The track record's been incredible. I wasn't worried about that. I was worried about just getting to know the system,
yeah.
right? I figured a lot of people might not be able to do this. but beyond my wildest dreams, they have, right? People come in, they learn it. It's simple, it's intuitive, Spencer, right? Which makes it easy to kind of pick up and actually fun to learn. So I don't think that Wave Trader will be any different. It's the same exact thing. This couldn't be any more basic. All you need is like, options 101 experience, level one options trading. Anyone can do this. The same thing as buying common stock or shares of stock. Um, so yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And also, I think, first of all, we're going to jump in and hit it hard right now because market's been sideways. Some of the best stocks in the world, talking about you software, absolutely killed, right? Massive drawdowns, big sell-offs. Growth has been dead sideways. I'm talking about all the most liquid stuff, right? These crypto stocks that we've been all over since last week or the week before, all of those things highly liquid. And I think when I look around, Palantir is another one, right? We were taking profits in today. Some of the most liquid, biggest growth stocks in the market are so ready to rip here that I think now could not be a better time. A lot of times we launch these things, we do these promos, and I say to myself, oh shit, and now the market's tanking and it's a sloppy market or a messy market. This is not a great time for this. This is seriously the perfect time to launch something like Wave Trader because the market's been depressed, people are scared, sentiment's nasty, we got the war stuff going on. Meanwhile, if you look at the charts, these stocks want to rip higher, right? And we're just in day two of it right now today. They keep selling them off in the morning and ripping them higher Monday and Tuesday. Now we finally, like you said, got a big green day, a nice big, bullish breath day. I think we're going to have a ton of opportunities in the coming days and weeks. We're going to take advantage of them, ride these waves with some short dated call options. I'm looking almost only long at this point, Spencer, right now. So I think there's a lot of trades to make. You jump in, join the service today. You're going to have a trade in your inbox tomorrow. You'll see all the details for the trades that we're already in. One of them still actionable, still perfectly actionable here. And there's going to be a lot more to come in the coming weeks.
Okay, questions from the chat. I promised
Yes.
that we'd get to it, and we don't have all the time in the world, so let's get to it right now. Who asked this one? This was from Steve-O. Is that you? No, that's a different person. Steve-O. Will Wave Trader send exit emails or any kind of trade management guidance?
We will send you sell the double alerts. And then on the weekly calls, so every Tuesday at noon, I will, speak in detail about exactly how I'm treating whatever positions. And the way that those calls work is the members come and bring their questions. They ask their questions live. If you're stuck in a position, you're in MicroStrategy, hey, we were up 10% yesterday, I sold half. Should I sell another quarter? I'm not going to tell you what you should do, but I will tell you exactly what I'm doing with that position, right? And then we talk through it. And then other members say, well, this is how I did it, and this is how I'm doing it. And I'm putting a tight trailing stop here, right? And we share ideas on how to manage the risk in that remaining half. But you will get a trade alert the moment we're buying, the minute we're sending out, or that we're jumping in and buying these calls or puts, and then you're going to get a sell the double alert the minute that those calls double based on my entry price.
On the topic of trades that don't work, this was from Ryan. This is a good question.
Yeah.
And this doesn't apply just to Wave Trader. This really applies to everything that you do. Do you let it ride to expiration, or will you just close it out?
If they don't work, they'll be worthless at expiration, right? The
Yes.
trades that don't work.
Right.
The winners, no. I almost never ride to expiration, right? I'm trying to take my money off the table. When I get a winner, I want to take that money back and then redeploy it into a fresh setup. So winners, I'm almost never riding to expiration. I'm taking profits on strength along the way. With losers, the way to do it with losers is you don't have time to be bogged down, right, and waste mental capital on positions that are already losing. These are short dated, options. So one down day is going to, knock these things down 30, 40, 50%. At that point, they're half the position size of everything else. You got some winners in your account that are up 5x, right? So the market value of those positions is 10x the size of this loser. We let the losers go to zero almost every time, unless there's some sort of emergency situation. We're overexposed to a theme or the entire market. We got to cut out of stuff. Fine. We'll talk about that. We'll send a special note. It almost never happens. What you do is you position size appropriately going in and tell yourself there's really high likelihood here that I'm going to lose 100% of this, right? So you don't pay more than you could afford to lose. You figure that out, you will become an expert in position sizing because that becomes one of the trickiest, most important things when you're running a system like this. So the answer, I guess the short answer is no. We're not going to be sending alerts or cutting out of losers. You're going to position size appropriately so that that loser won't hurt you in the event that it does go to zero. We are going to spend our time managing the winners because they're far more material and significant to our overall P&L.
Can you talk about your expectations for this strategy in bear market?
Yeah, we're going to buy puts and make money on the downside.
Okay,
That's my expectation.
that's what happened with breakout multiplier a year
Yeah,
ago.
we're going to slam puts and keep making money. It's going to
Yeah.
feel like it's bear markets are going to start to feel like bull markets.
Oh, that's a nice way. I like the sound of that. Um, David's asking about the track record. I know we have a few trades that are out there publicly. Do we have that, or will it be on the site?
You want to know the
Or
track record, Spencer?
yeah,
I'll tell you.
okay.
Here's what we've done over the past couple of weeks. Sorry. We bought Apple on February 23rd. We're currently down 60%. It hit a max return of 92%. It's close to a double, not quite. We bought Bank of America on February 23rd as well. That's when Bank of America was completing the top. We showed those charts during the call here. We made a max return of 160%. We sold them all the very next day. That was on the short side. We bought Bank of America puts. MicroStrategy, we bought on 225. We're currently up 120% on our MicroStrategy calls. We've sold the double. We bought Exxon calls on 226. We bought the March 6th 155 calls. Those hit a max return of almost 400% in a matter of, I think, a day or two. We talked about that one as well. We are currently in ServiceNow calls that we purchased March 2nd. We're in the 320 115 ServiceNow calls. We paid 280 for them. We're currently up almost 100%. We'll get a double on that tomorrow, ideally. Cisco, we just bought the Cisco's yesterday, so that was March 3rd. We bought the Cisco monthly 82.50. We paid 66 cents. They traded over $1 today, so those are in good position. Cisco's filling that gap right now. I think this is going to be a good one. And this morning we bought Amazon. We paid 480 for the 320 215s, and they closed the day around 750, up about 60%. That's our track record so far for Wave Trader.
I like what I hear.
We've doubled on about half of our trades, and we got, a handful more that look like they're double candidates for tomorrow or, sometime this week.
So there are a few questions in the chat for people who are in breakout multiplier or beat report, and the way I want to frame this against those is this is a different strategy, right? It tries to do something different, right? Breakout multiplier, if you're in that, you're swinging for the fences, you're going for home runs, right? This is a similar strategy in terms of their options trades, right? And there's some analysis that as Steve just explained, that goes into the selection of the stock and the underlying option and all that. But the point is different, right? Steve is going for he's going for quick trades, quick money, quick profits, right? It's a different thing, right? Different strokes for different folks. And I will say, first off, if you already are a member of Breakout Multiplier or the Beat Report, and you're in Strazza's world and you want to get involved here, I would say either A, just sign up, or B, reach out to Mary and she can help you out, right? But yeah, you can email her, you can call her, you have her info, if you're already a member. But it is a different strategy to do a different thing, right? And I think that's the point we want to get across here.
It's about quick money, quick hits, quick money. We're playing the pops. I expect pretty much every trade I put on to double in 24 to 48 hours. If all goes well, that's how this system should work. Quick doubles, multi-baggers, out and on to the next thing. We will have less 20x, 30x winners. Sometimes in breakout multiplier, we get these crazy wins, right?
Yeah.
That's because we're buying 2, 3 months of time sometimes. So you let the trend really rally and you get some of these just major vertical parabolic rallies that we happen to be in. You'll get less of that here. This is going to be more just consistent, quick wins, doubles, getting your money back, 3, 4, 5x, nice multi-baggers, happens in a week's time. The best trades happen right away, maybe 2 weeks. So it's quick money, quick money, quick money. And the risk reward is just as good because we'll be spending less because we're buying less time. Again, time is money. So when we're going 30, 60, 90 days out, we're paying for 30, 60, 90 days. If we're going 2 weeks out, it's going to be a fraction of what we would have paid for a breakout multiplier trade. So it's actually a lower capital constraint, right? So it'll be easier for people with smaller account sizes.
Actually, that leads me to my next question, which is if you've thought about how much money you need for this to work. It's going to be a faster strategy, okay? So
Yeah.
if you've ever run up against the pattern day trader rule before, you know what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
That might happen, even though there are rumblings that rule is going out the door. Okay.
And that's one of the best thing that's happening. They're going to get rid of that rule. Then you
Yeah.
can have a small account size, not be bothered, be buying and selling the same things day in and day out, right? And I think that's coming. It was supposed to happen already. I think it's supposed to happen by like the first half of this year. That rule is gone. It's on its way out. It's just a matter of time. So that'll make things easier for people too. I like to say 10,000, Spencer. I think an account size of 10,000. Could you get by with less? You could. 10,000 is perfect. 10,000 is plenty for what we're doing here.
Barbie's asking about monthly options for the service.
Hell
Maybe,
yeah.
maybe.
We're
But
gonna do.
for right now, we're just doing the annual and the 3 year.
Oh, I
But
thought you meant monthly options.
no, no, I know. I
Like we're
had to,
gonna do that. Yeah.
I had to clarify. But we are just unveiling this right now. This has never been unveiled before. So, Barbie from Florida, perhaps.
I love Barbie from Florida.
Okay.
Come join us.
The account balance. We've covered the idea that this is supposed to be quick trades, so you need to know that going in.
Yeah.
This is not the kind of thing where you can take a trade, forget about it for a month, and then be like, "Oh, how did I do?" This
No.
won't work, right?
This
This
is
won't work.
set your alerts, watch your inbox.
Yep.
We're gonna act fast here. Right. We're gonna buy something one day, we're gonna sell it on the open the next day, right? And you gotta be ready. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of
Yeah.
fun. It's easy to do. We're gonna give you everything you need. You're gonna get those email alerts as soon as we get the double. But what most people do is say they pay $1 or $1.20 for an option, then they go and set an alert for when that option hits $2 or $2.40, right? So they get a ding ding or an SMS or something. All the platforms do it today. They'll let you know. You click a button, you go in, you sell it, boom, you got your double.
And someone in the chat mentioned SMS alerts. I think you'll be very pleased. Imminent development on that front.
Oh, that's a big development.
So stay tuned for that.
They've been asking for this, Spencer. We got to get this done.
I know it, man. Don't I know it? So all right,
Great.
that's the deal. Use the link that is in the chat or just the link that's right below the video player. If you're watching the replay, just use the link in the description and we'll see you. We'll see you out there riding the waves, I guess, to keep up with the theme of this whole thing.
I'm going to say it one more time, Spencer. It's a perfect time for this. I'm so happy. I don't think we've ever had a launch, a new product launch, where I'm saying to myself, God, this moment couldn't be better. Okay. Growth stocks are about to catch that rotation right now. Okay. These are the most liquid stocks in the market. We can do so much with them. Broadcom has earnings this afternoon. I wonder how they did. You could trade Broadcom calls that expire tomorrow these days. I mean, God bless America. We can literally do anything. I think we're going to get some huge upside momentum off of the volatility that we've had really for a long time now. And again, when missiles fly, it's time to buy. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing out here. So I hope to see everybody in the room. It's such a great community. We all learn together. We talk about our trades together. We talk about the market. We have a lot of fun. So I hope to see everybody in there on Tuesdays. Might as well give it a shot. I promise you I'll make you your money back in a week.
Steve Strazza, everybody. Round of applause. Thank you very much. We'll see you in there. All right.
Thanks, Spencer.